Hello and welcome to Source Code. My name is Owen and today we will be talking about how to make an indie game in 2022 with zero experience. This idea is sparked by a wonderful subscriber named Avioli. Now this video will cover a lot of topics such as coding, engines, art, music and more. However, if you do have some experience in one of these areas, just skip to the time codes that are more beneficial to you. Also, before we get into this video, please like and subscribe if you like this content, and let's get started. So there are so many game engines such as Unity, Unreal Engine, Godot, and Game Maker Studio, just to name a few. Now the question is, does it matter what game engine you use? Well, yes and no. Each engine both have pros and cons which can help you making your choice. For example, Unreal Engine has perks such as giving away free assets every month, Unity is great for porting to consoles, and so on. Now for someone who's just starting out, since this is what this video will be for, context is important. For instance, I would usually say try different engines out and see which works for you. But as someone who is just getting into coding as well as everything else, it's probably not ideal to be switching between different ones. Plus I would pick an engine that is a bit more popular, as those engines will have a lot more resources for you since you're just starting out. And as every engine has their own dedicated language as mentioned before, whichever engine you pick, that language will be picked for you as well, which removes a lot of hassle. Now a good way to kind of differentiate which one is the best for you is to decide what you want to make. Is it 2D? Is it 3D? Some engines benefit more with 3D, like for instance Unity and Unreal compared to Godot. Also, it's worth noting that Godot does do 3D, just these engines such as Unreal and Unity do it a lot better. But be sure to keep at that engine once you picked it. And don't switch so early, as there will be a lot of challenges in the beginning regardless of the engine you pick, but if you keep going it will get easier. Now art is another valuable part of making a video game, but can also be very difficult, but there are so many options for this. Do you want to make your own? Do you want to buy pre-existing assets? Do you want to get someone to do it for you? And so on. First, we have to divide again between what kind of game you want to make. Is it 3D or 2D? For 2D, you can pretty much go for any program that allows you to draw, such as Photoshop, Illustrator, and Say. If money is an issue though, there are free or cheaper pieces of software such as Clip Studio, GIMP and Krita. For pixel art, you can opt to go into Aseprite. This is one of the most beloved pieces of software for pixel art in games, and it's very affordable compared to the other options mentioned. For 3D, the easy answer would be Blender, CAD or Maya. Either one works, and although I don't personally make models myself, I would recommend Blender, as it is free and costs nothing to begin with, plus it has countless materials to start learning. If you get people to model for you, they will most likely be using one of these, so it's probably best to have some knowledge on these kind of softwares. The other option is pre-made assets, which I think is probably an easy option for someone who's just starting out. Many game engines have their own store. Unity has thousands and thousands of assets free and at a price, and some of the free assets are good enough to begin prototyping your game. Unreal Engine, as discussed before, give away assets. They also have paid assets on the store. Also, these stores have good free assets for basic things like tables, as it's probably not efficient to spend time making a table when there is a perfectly good one on the store. If you're worried about wanting it to look unique, retexturing is always possible. Now the last option for art is freelance. Sometimes you want an original main character or enemies that you can find nowhere else, but you have no skill, like me, to make them yourself. But don't worry, there's plenty of freelance sites. The one I use is Fiverr. Now some may be watching and groaning at me mentioning Fiverr, but there are some very talented and affordable people on Fiverr that can provide you not only modeling, but rigging and even animation at a low cost. And if you're making a low poly game, this is super beneficial. Just search around first, message the freelancers any concerns, questions you have, and go from there. I've used Fiverr countless times for art. My logo is a good example of using freelancers. Also, my main character and enemies was done by people on Fiverr, so I highly recommend it. Sound is so important for video games, from the sound effects to the actual music. You can either learn to do this yourself, find royalty-free music and sounds online, or purchase them from online libraries. For software, you can go the paid route, such as Ableton, Cubase and Logic Pro, or the free option would be Audacity, Reaper or LMMS. Either of these you can use to make, download or buy material for your game and tweak it if need be. And as some of the paid softwares can be a bit pricey, it's best to probably go with the free option. And the approach is a lot different to a game engine, as literally any music software will get the majority of the job done. So going for the free option is completely fine. Now, making your music can go from using free samples from online libraries, making your own, or using a paid service. First, if you just want some basic samples, there are countless sites that provide free sound effects and sounds that you can put together to create music. Plus, some of these softwares do provide samples themselves. Just the quality here can be a bit inconsistent and may need some further tweaking in the software. If you want to create your own sounds and sound effects, you can buy an affordable microphone and create your own samples, tweak them in the software and drop them into your game. Plus, you can use these to make musical pieces with them for your game. This is very easy to do and can bring a bit more originality to your game in the process. You can also purchase sample packs online from sample libraries and tweak them to fit your game. There are also more affordable online libraries which work as a subscription based. The one I use is Splice. This gives you a selection of credits every month, depending on the package you pick. Each sample on the site is worth a singular credit. In addition, you can go through these libraries that otherwise you would pay as a whole, listen to each, then buy whichever is most appropriate for your game. Lastly, learning this stuff can be tough, and there are countless ways to learn all of it. From YouTube tutorials, asking on sites like Stack Overflow, going in Discord servers for software you use like Unity or Ableton, and even an option to hire someone to help you through stuff when needed. Making games isn't easy when you're doing it alone. There is a lot of hats to wear. So make sure that if you are struggling, to never struggle alone. Ask people. Even if you think the question is stupid, there aren't no stupid questions. Making a game isn't easy. Everyone is in this together. It's not an instant process and there will be challenges. But if you do stick with this, you will get through it. And that's it. A brief rundown of some things to consider when making your game. I tried to avoid being too detailed, otherwise the video would probably be an hour long. If you are considering starting your journey in game dev this year, let me know in the comments. If you have any questions, let me know either via comments or head over to my Discord and ask me personally. I'll be more than happy to help. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.